I want to open this video up with an apology for the lack of overall presence and the flow of information in terms of the updates that I promised would be coming way back in the announcement video for Salvation. Not too long after I said that, I had a conversation with my best friend and co-author, Katie, just trying to get her opinion as to how she thought that should be laid out, what I should say and when I should say it, type of thing. And she told me, she said, if you want to maintain an aura of mystique around this thing and keep everybody in the dark so they go in blind when it finally releases and you start your read through, then that's what you should do. She also advised me to be careful not to freely give away too much information that no one is asking for. It's one thing if they start listening to it and kind of naturally generate this curiosity and come to me with questions. By all means, then give them a peek behind the curtain. Otherwise, silence may be golden with this project. So that's what I decided to do, and I apologize for that. What I will share with you about it, however, is the writing experience so far has been like no other. And in every conceivable way, pretty much, it is probably the most complicated thing I've ever created. And I don't know if it's just being passionate about the horror genre and wanting to create just something good that other fans can listen to and really enjoy, kind of putting pressure on myself about that. I don't know if it's added pressure based on the personal history that I have with the original story and wanting to create something substantial and really kind of put an end to this, decade-long journey that it's been on. But I can say that without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most indecisive as an author that I've ever felt. Which is to say that I've got ideas coming at me from all directions. 3 or 4 different ways to write the exact same thing. Whether it be just casually working my way through a scene, building up to something that will happen later on in the story, or just dialogue. It's been a lot of writing, deleting, and rewriting, and not really going anywhere most of the time. But I guess it's not really all that bad, though, because it really has caused me to reevaluate my approach to this whole thing. It's taught me to, be okay with or at peace with going slow and really being meticulous and methodical with those types of details. Essentially just moving the goalpost a little bit. So rather than getting really frustrated and upset with myself because I wasn't able to work my way through an entire chapter in a week. Now I'm able to say, hey, rather than focusing on that, why don't we try to get to, you know, the middle of the chapter or finish this chunk of the chapter? Then we can take the weekend to really plan the rest of it out and start fresh on Monday, which will ultimately help us flow super easily to the end of the chapter. And yeah, I mean, am I frustrated that after a year's worth of work, I'm only 8 chapters deep? Of course. But ultimately, I think I've been able to produce some pretty solid chapters that Katie and I are pretty pleased with. And that's really all that matters. Which brings me to my main point, and really the whole reason behind making this video. The entire reason I'm here, which is to announce that Salvation is currently on hiatus. In the interest of respecting Katie and her family's privacy, all I will say is that they have been and will continue to go through a very difficult time. Her and I have had conversations recently where she expressed how wore out she was with everything going on. And my gut reaction to that was just to say, stop the presses, pump the brakes, put everything on pause. Because I've been very adamant since day one that this is our project. We've started it together, so we're going to finish it together, and it will not go forward without her. Of course, I mean, I don't want her in any way whatsoever to expend any mental or emotional energy that she doesn't have on something that's just not all that important compared to real life things. But at the same time, I am aware that people deal with this kind of stuff differently as individuals. And so I didn't really want to be the guy to shut it down if she was using it as a creative outlet to kind of escape everything that's going on. So I kind of left both options on the table. I said, hey, if you need a clean break for a while, that's completely and totally understandable, completely and totally fine. If you want to take baby steps, and kind of inch our way forward through this, here's what I need for the next chapter. And she was very upfront and honest in saying that she just didn't have a whole lot to give. And quite frankly, that was all I needed to hear. So this isn't something that has a timeline on it. It's not something I'm going to put a timeline on other than Katie's timeline. It's just very obvious that she needs a break. She needs to, disconnect from everything she can spare and recharge her batteries a little bit. And obviously, I want to be there in any possible way that I can as part of the support system for her and her family during this time. So, what does that mean for the rest of us? Well, my plan is to possibly continue taking notes and doing research so that, you know, I can kind of keep our spot in the book. Keep the gears turning so that when she does give me the green light to you know, get going again, we can pick it up and hit the ground running with minimal problems. Worst case scenario, though, I just kind of reread what's already written and just kind of catch myself up with where we're at. Other than that, the plan is just to pass the time making videos for the channel and other, you know, creative efforts. In closing, I think I speak for both of us when I say, you know, thank you for your patience and understanding. And I also would say, you know, probably any thoughts, prayers, and positive vibes you could send to Katie would be appreciated. Other than that, sis, whenever you see this, I love you. And for the rest of you, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.